You're listening to LA Talk Radio.
You're listening to Female Filmmakers Fuse with Alexa Poehler and Robin Pabello, only on LA Talk Radio.
Hello and welcome to Female Filmmakers Fuse. I'm your host Alexa Poehler with
Robin Pabello.
Hello.
Hello.
So
Happy Sunday.
happy Sunday. It's a nice, beautiful, gloomy day outside.
I love these clouds.
So do I. I like this kind of weather. I preferably like it when I'm at home, relaxing. I don't like driving in the rain. It's not raining right now, but
You're one of those.
I am one of those.
I can drive in any kind of weather. I don't mind it, but I do love these clouds. These are like phenomenal. Like, it's just gorgeous. Like, they make me happy.
And it's nice to have this studio where we have this big, lovely window and we can see everything.
Yeah.
So before we start, we're waiting on our guest. Hopefully she's okay.
Yes. We did see a couple accidents, so please drive safely. I know crazy people drive in LA, but it's just like any other day.
So I did want to mention something. It's a pretty big day today for us. Maybe you're not aware of it. I didn't speak to you about this prior to it, Robin.
Oh, okay. What's up?
May 20th, and I know today's the 19th, but May 20th was the first day that we went live on this podcast.
Oh, congrats.
So it's been a year. Female Filmmakers
Woo!
Fuse. This is a year.
Happy anniversary, FFO.
Okay. But no, it's a big deal, to stay, that way and providing this platform for so many talented women out there and men that support, female filmmakers. I do have to say that late last year, late 2018, we became an official nonprofit, a 501(c)(3). So this is what will keep us going. So any donations, it is a tax write-off. It is an official 501(c)(3) nonprofit, and donations are welcome. I want to keep this going another year, and I think that we definitely do need that support. So I'm not too proud to beg. I ain't too proud to beg.
My God.
But when it comes to this,
who's saying that?
If I needed them on it, TLC. I had to do it. In my head.
I'm terrible. I know the song.
I'm not gonna sing it. That was bad. But yeah. So this is, and Female Filmmakers Fuse is an official 501(c). Anyone that would like to get more information, please do visit our website at femalefilmakersfuse.org.
Is that 2 dots?
No, I stumbled on my words.
It's all good.
Femalefilmakersfuse.org. O-R-G. So for organization. And if you care to get more information, you can certainly go on our website. You can reach us out directly. We can certainly send you the letter of the 501(c).
Yeah.
The official
So
letter.
if you know any sponsors or anyone that's
government,
looking...
corporations, corporation sponsors, like
Yep.
we're always looking for that, and we'll give a shout out always on the podcast for anyone that does that.
Yeah.
But
sure.
we do want to keep this going. This is a year.
It's been fantastic too, and like the amount of support and people that we have that have come on the show or have gone to the festival. I mean, those are the amazing things.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it's one of those specialized platforms that it's not just for one specific, even though it seems like it may be, but I feel like this is a trajectory for like everyone across the board from all walks of life, whether you're just trying or curious to get into the business, or if you're seasoned and you have expertise. Like it ranges from everything, and that's what's lovely about it. Is it's been kind of providing everybody with another resource that they didn't really realize that they had.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's kind of nice. And I've noticed that people that have met either through the podcast or at the festivals, that they've been able to work with somebody or led them to somebody else that was like where they needed to go.
And it's so great too, because it's been a great experience for myself. I'm an introvert. I'm extremely socially awkward. So this has
Not
been
extremely.
Well, I have gotten better. But yes, I am socially awkward. I guess not as extreme as I used to be. But I've noticed that since Female Filmmakers Fuse entered my life, or I entered its life, or we became one.
Since you created it.
Right. It's been great meeting these phenomenal ladies, these women. And
Phenomenal.
Yes, exactly. And I keep in touch with them. They've been super supportive, always speaking highly of the organization, of what we represent and what we do. Many of them will be coming back. We're looking at doing some things. I'll be making some announcements soon.
Cool.
I can say that the 3rd Annual Film Festival will be coming up in November. It's going to be held in Pasadena. We're making some arrangements. So, keep tuned into that. Please do, as we're still accepting submissions. And we're going to have an event during that festival where I can officially say that Michelle Manu is a part of it. Now, if anyone doesn't know who she is, she's this martial arts self-defense extraordinary woman who teaches that and has been featured in, countless of magazines, and has this class that she calls, I think, Shiro, like for hero. And it provides a self-defense course using traditional techniques from the island. I believe she's Hawaiian. And it's just, I've seen her do it firsthand. I think you've seen it as well, Robin.
We documented it.
Yeah. And so she's going to, do a session at the event. We're going to have a special, we're still setting it up. I'm doing that with Sarah Ann Mace. So she's helping me with this as well. But Michelle Manu has already confirmed that she's going to be a part of it. So that I can say it's official. Once we get more information, I'll certainly provide that. But really looking forward to that. 3rd Annual Film Festival. I think people should come down,
Oh, for sure. And it's an international.
Yes.
I mean, the festival is tiny, but it is international, and it definitely has a great slate of films. I'm speaking of last year and the year before, and I feel like we did have a wide variety of genre. And I thought the creativity and the writing, from the directing to the cinematography, I mean, all walks, it was super fantastic. Like, I can't wait to see what the 3rd annual has in store.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
We're tiny but mighty.
Yes. Well, that's just me in a nutshell, because that's what I say. Teeny tiny.
Yeah.
I'm always the smallest person on set.
So, Robin, what do you think? I didn't mention this to you, but a year hosting this podcast.
It's pretty rad. I mean, I know I haven't been here the entire year because I've been working, but
you've been busy. I missed one day. Ash Warren had filled in for me one day because I was extremely sick. I think I was hospitalized. But Ash was here, and she's been here a couple times, and she's our on-camera talent. She's amazing.
Yep.
She's in the umbrella of the family of Female Filmmakers Fuse. Super proud of what she's doing.
Heck yeah.
And that's what we're about. Supporting each other, empowering each other.
Oh, absolutely. And we wouldn't have met Ash without Bobby.
Oh yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I mean, and that without that support, I mean, the networking wouldn't happen, and that's what's lovely about it, is that it's all encompassing. You never know who you're going to meet. We were just having this discussion this morning, which FYI, we were filming for FFF.
That's true.
For the Pitch Fest.
The elevator.
For the top three.
The top 3 elevator pitch.
Which was also rad because we had, we had Rachel Mullins as our producer.
Which was great because she was our guest last week.
Correct. So we tied that in. It's a little sassiness. And then we had our top 3. So, I mean, I feel like it's kind of just a really nice network of people. And so I feel like that's going to just keep blooming and growing throughout the years. And I think that's really what we have something to look forward to.
Absolutely. And what I want to do this year with the podcast is I would like to, and you've been encouraging this, I want to bring in different creative beings into the show.
Yeah.
From
like
different
departments. Yeah. I mean, I'd really like to, because like, I feel the more educated you are and the more people you have at your, in your arsenal of like, hey, this person is, specializes in this, or this is in their wheelhouse. Like, so, as a DP, when I have to think as a DP, I'm thinking of my gaffer and who was my list of people that's on my call list, and key grips and production designers, and so on and so forth, and just all these little things. And like as we get bigger and as we grow, it's kind of like a stepping stone for all of us. So like we learn from each other, we can outsource and refer other people. So it's kind of like, hey, I heard about this person looking for this type of thing, and you're the right fit. And the more we can lift each other up, or say, hey, this person would be great, and vice versa. I mean, it's a full circle, which is really the best opportunity for everybody. It's a win-win situation.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because I know that it becomes competitive, and I am super competitive, but at the same time, I feel that if we can make hello.
Our guest just walked in.
Yes. I think once we set that tone, I feel like that's what's going to make it, a better resource of genre.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's get to our guests now. You can go ahead and place those on. Real quick, if you wish to call in, it's 818-602-4929. That's 818-602-4929. Vatsala. Correct? Did I say that correctly? I'm not good.
You overcorrected it.
I overcorrected.
And that's
So it is.
not bad at all.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me here, first of all.
Thank you for
And-
coming in. And how do you say your last name? Let's have you say your name correctly, first and last.
Sure. So, Vatsalya is the Sanskrit root name.
That sounds beautiful.
Yes, and that's how you pronounce it, which is fine. And my given name is Vatsala. That's my
Oh.
first name.
I like that.
And my last name is Goel.
Goel. Okay. Lovely. Lovely.
Thanks for asking.
Beautiful name. You're a cinematographer,
Yes.
director of photography. And I do have to give a shout out to you. You recently had 3 films this year at the Tribeca Film Festival.
I did. Thank you.
Congratulations. That's
Amazing.
That is amazing. And they were from 3 different filmmakers, directors.
3 different filmmakers. I performed 3 different roles.
Okay.
And it's, first of all, it was such a surprise.
Yeah.
This year I had planned to go to a lot of film festivals because
Okay.
I'd been putting it off for a really long time. And so I bought my tickets in February while I was in India.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And each successive month, I found out that a different film was going to premiere
Oh,
at
nice.
Tribeca.
Nice.
So in one of the films, I was a camera operator. It's a documentary film called Tale of Two Cities.
Mm.
And it's produced by Netflix. And it's a Mexican-American documentary film
Okay.
focusing on a restaurant business started by a Mexican woman. I do not know how to pronounce her last name properly. Her first name is Gabriela.
Okay.
And her restaurants are called Contramar in Mexico City
Okay.
and Cala in San Francisco. And it was a great production. Mexican DP, I operated for him.
Mm-hmm.
So I was one of the camera operators in the San Francisco chapter.
Okay.
So we had a world premiere at the festival, and it's going to be on Netflix 22nd May onwards.
Wow.
Ooh.
Congratulations.
And, thank you. And I just found out it's also playing at the AFI Docs Film Festival in Washington, D.C.
Very
next
nice.
month.
That's
Thank you.
amazing.
That's so exciting.
That
It is very exciting, yes.
That is. Are you going to Washington, D.C. to?
Unfortunately not.
Okay.
I really wanted to. I actually assumed it was going to be in LA.
Mhm.
Just found out that
Okay.
it's not.
Oh, okay.
But I am working around then, so I'm not going to be able to make it.
Well, I mean, you're working, so that's a great reason.
I know.
Right? So, that's a great reason.
Yeah. And the second film is called Chromosome 19,
Okay.
and it's directed by Sarah Lamb. She's a New York-based filmmaker,
Mm-hmm.
and
I know that name.
yeah, I think she played one of her previous movies at the LA Film Festival.
Okay.
And it's produced by Tribeca Studios and 23andMe. So they made 23 films. They commissioned 23 filmmakers.
I know this. Why do I know this? Okay,
You
it'll
might
come to
know
me.
other teams.
I think so,
Yeah.
but her name rings a bell.
Okay, that's exciting.
Okay, it'll come. Sorry.
Yeah, she's so far she's more. I think I would say she comes from a theater background and like she's been working in documentary
Mhm.
more. But really interesting director and team to work with. Intellectually, really satisfying experience. you know?
Lovely.
Yeah. And that film premiered, that entire sort of collection of films, they premiered in this program called Identity.
Mm-hmm.
And that happened on the 25th at Tribeca. They had a panel. So that is now streaming on Vimeo.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And I DP'd that film. Also camera operated.
That's great.
Yeah. And the third one is called Snaggletooth, which is a very special short film.
It sounds. I like the title.
Yeah. It's a short horror comedy.
Okay.
Made by a friend in San Francisco, Colin Bishop. It's his debut film.
Okay.
And it's shot by Stephen Burke in San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
And we shot in my neighborhood right by Alamo Square Park
Okay.
in the William Westerfield mansion, which is...
Oh,
Are you familiar with it?
yes.
Yeah, it's got a lot of history, and it has some amazing vintage art. Apparently, the Church of Satan was formed in the tower
Yep.
there.
Wow.
Yep.
There used to be a tiger up there. They still have claw marks.
Wow.
The
Very interesting.
yeah, the
Okay,
Grateful
I-
Dead used to hang out there.
I want to go there now. I'm
Yeah.
intrigued.
There are
I'm one of
so
those
many.
weird people
There are
that I'm
so
just
many
intrigued.
stories.
Yes.
Like that's
And-
why when you said that, I was like,
Oh yeah, it was so much fun to light, and so I'm also a part of this indie filmmaking community in San Francisco. It's called Scary Cow.
Scary Cow. We showcased a Scary Cow
Yeah.
production at last year's film festival. I think
Which
it was
one?
last year. I don't recall. I just
Okay.
remember Scary
That's
Cow because
exciting.
it was a cute little. Was it the soap one? The soap.
I don't
Where they
remember.
did it over an overhead.
I don't
like
remember.
a projector. It sounds
No.
I think I know what you're talking about.
It looked like it was like, you know how like in schools they had that projector. I'm doing because we're on Facebook Live. By the way, people, if you want to check this out, we're also on Facebook Live. But you know the projectors at school, like the overhead projectors where the teacher would write. And,
Right.
you know,
Yeah. I'm
so-
forgetting what they're called. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a projector.
It was a projector, right?
It was like a
not a-
OFP sheet projector. You
Yes.
could place your slides
Yes,
in it.
yes,
and you would
yes.
hear, yeah.
So and,
We're all pretty old.
yeah, right. We're aging ourselves here. Kids are going like, "What are you talking about?"
They still have them in schools.
I think so. I mean, my film school still probably uses one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They still
I
have
love
them
them.
in elementary, and they still have them in junior high.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, I didn't know that. I thought
They
You can do very creative things with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
they did something creative with that. Not to go away from that, but the
Yeah.
Scary Cow is what got to me because I
That's
remember and it
awesome.
was like a really cute little logo, and I was like, "Hey, that's cute."
Right.
But yeah, so go on. Sorry.
Oh, sure. Yeah, it was Colin's first directorial venture, and he got into Tribeca, which was
That's
like
amazing.
amazing for the whole
For a
tribe.
first, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
great.
yeah. Very special film, and it was so much fun to light. It
Mhm.
was pretty simply lit. We used like Fresnel lights and just like tungsten and a little bit of HMI and like maybe one or two quasar tubes.
I love
Um,
Quasar.
Yeah.
You're speaking Robin's language.
Sorry,
I'm doing this. Like
I
that sounds
thought
great.
I was like making sense. Sorry.
You're making sense.
I know, I
I'm
know.
just like,
Yeah.
sure.
No, from a cinematographer's perspective, also like Stephen is really fun to work with, and it was a very chill set, and just like a great location, great story, So that film premiered. It had its New York premiere at Tribeca, so that's the third film. So that rounds it up.
That's great. And was this
Yeah.
your first time in New York?
No, it was my second time visiting New York. First time for a film festival.
Okay.
And a little bit of personal trivia there is like, I, growing up, wanted to move to New York and live in New York. And I got into college there at like this really great photojournalism school called International Center of Photography.
Okay.
And that was like one of the pivotal moments in life, which sort of like reshaped me because I couldn't go
Oh man.
because it was too expensive.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's usually the problem.
Yeah.
Yes. And so that sort of like made me rethink and then decide to just go and work in Bombay. I was with Forbes India magazine. We launched the magazine in India. And so I was with the photography team. And that was a really great experience. And after working there for about a year, I decided to go to film school for cinematography. And
Nice.
I probably would not be doing this right now, but later, had I gone to ICP in New York. So yeah, it's always interesting
How
to go there because I was very bitter for not being able to go for a long time.
Was
'Cause
that
it's-
that was personal, right?
Yeah,
It wasn't more. It was more of like this was a life experience that you wanted for yourself.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. And I feel like cities really shape you as
Mhm.
artists, as people. So I feel like now, I feel like, New York is like water under the bridge,
right.
sort of, because I've been living in California for about 6 years now.
Nice.
So, yeah.
I mean, I mean, I think each city does present something unique, and
Absolutely.
the feeling and the vibe definitely
Hmm.
is stylistic.
Absolutely. I mean, now I just want to shoot in New York.
Same.
And I can probably just live there. I spent a lot of time downtown.
Yeah.
This was it. So that wasn't really, I didn't kind of quite feel myself just because I'm so used to seeing the sky, and I like thrive on the sky and the ocean.
Same.
No stars. No stars in the city.
It's a concrete jungle, baby.
No stars in
Yeah,
the
so I
city.
feel like had I spent more time in Brooklyn or Queens or, I would have been
Yeah, I
a
love
little less anxious.
Brooklyn is
So,
lovely. I mean,
yeah.
but the thing of it is like it's not New York now is not New York then, and that's something
I
that
mean, I
think,
don't know. I feel like New York is New York, I mean, it's such an old city. You can feel it.
Oh, you can,
know?
but it has changed so much. Like with the last time I was in Brooklyn, I
I'm
was like, this
sure.
is not Brooklyn. I was like, what's
I'm-
going
Is it
on?
because
I'm-
of gentrification?
Gentrification.
Gentrification. Yes, yeah, it
I-
has
I-
changed.
I'd
I
put
feel
a
like
D.
that's everywhere.
You're
I was like, what would the genders? Gentrification. Yes.
Yes,
Is
yeah.
it because of that? Do you feel?
It has shifted, yeah, a lot, and not that it's obviously to me and for most people, I think that's not like the greatest thing
Right.
because you're taking what makes it urban and what makes it real and raw away from it,
Right.
So it's kind of like that saying, like once an Apple store goes in your neighborhood, like
That's a great
that's
analogy.
It really is that, or a Starbucks,
I
like
haven't
I
it's
feel like
bounced in New York in a
Starbucks
while.
is still okay. I mean, like, I
but
don't
it's
know.
really Apple. Once Apple's in your
Apple, I
neighborhood,
see. But
yeah.
Starbucks is more like the people's coffee,
Mm,
Isn't
I'd
it?
still rather go to like a mom and pop stop.
Sure.
They're
I mean,
rare,
I
though.
just
Good
walked here
ones-
from one of those. So.
Yeah.
They're rare though. I like mom and pop shops, like coffee houses, and
Yeah.
I've been to a couple of them, and then I get so sad when they close, especially the really good ones, the ones where you feel comfortable and there's
Right.
things to do and you know the people
Mhm.
and everything, and because Starbucks you don't have that unless it's like a regular employee or whatnot.
Well,
so
okay.
a little
It's so
more
interesting
fast-paced
to
and
hear
stuff.
this from you guys because culturally speaking, I feel like Starbucks, like coming from Asia or South Asia, I'm Indian. Starbucks is like such an American thing.
Oh,
It's
totally.
like
Yeah.
McDonald's.
it's like a
Yeah.
it's like cultural zeitgeist,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and like the whole name on the cup being misspelled and all of that.
Yeah.
Like these are like things you
These tropes.
like exactly like
Yes.
tropes you hold on to, and it becomes like a good conversation starter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So-
I've noticed a couple of times in a conversation I've had with a few different people where they would say you want to get Starbucks and they don't necessarily mean Starbucks. They're just saying
Right.
coffee.
Right,
And it's
right.
becoming one of those
It's like
things to say Xerox or
Right.
Kleenex, and
Yeah.
it's kind of
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
tissue. Okay, gotcha.
I mean, once you've done that, you've already branded yourself.
Yeah.
So it's like every coffee place is
Right.
Starbucks.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is interesting. But
No, I'm like,
and I've actually shifted to saying, hey, you want to get coffee? I put coffee/tea.
right,
do
'cause not
not-
everyone drinks
I
coffee.
drink tea.
I was planning to get coffee for you guys today. I like to do that sometimes, but I was like, I don't know. They look like healthy people.
I don't think coffe's bad for you.
I'm not healthy, people. Let me just put that out there. I snorted. She made me laugh. Thank you.
But yeah, good to know. Next time I'm going to see you guys, I can get you coffee.
But I do want to swing back to that
Yeah.
because you said you've been here for 5 years, give or take.
I was
is
here
that-
for a bit in 2013,
Okay.
and then I moved properly full on in 2014. I moved to San Francisco,
Okay.
and I've lived there up until last year when I started working in LA.
Mhm.
And I go back and forth between
That's
the
good
two
to know because I was
places, yeah.
looking for crew.
That's awesome.
Yeah, like I shot a
Yeah.
TED Talk in San Fran,
great.
so it would have been lovely to have you.
Yeah, I mean,
didn't know.
I can work locally in San Francisco, Los Angeles and Mumbai, or like any big city in India, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, my question with you is, how has that transition been from India to here? Because my parents I was born in Peru, but I've been here since I was 7 months old, so I'm pretty much American. Like from here, from the U.S. Even though I was born in Peru, I didn't go back to Peru until I was 12.
Right.
So when I speak, because I do immigration work on the side, like that's my side hustle.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I specialize like in entertainment visas, like the OBAs and
That
whatnot.
is so interesting.
Yeah. So when I talk to different artists and talented people, I don't understand the struggle because I see it from a different point of view. I have my own struggles,
Right.
because being a writer director, it's different than doing what you two ladies do, because what you two do is you're more on set than I would ever be, because I'm trying to sell a project or myself as a director, which is not always easy until I get more established. Now with you both, Robin, you're a union AC. Okay. And then, but you also camera operate and DP, right? So you guys are more on set because you have different things that you do.
I call us the workhorses.
Right. But see, I don't understand the struggle when it comes to that. My struggle's different, but when you're coming from a different country and you're trying to get established, and it's a lot of referrals and who you know, and trying to keep up with that. And like Robin says, like after the third call, if you don't answer, then they don't call you back. Right. Like, how does that work for you?
That's a great question. With no easy answers.
Right.
And I asked this question at a panel yesterday to a Spanish director. So it's great to be asked the same question.
I didn't know that.
It's tough.
We should contact that director. You should listen to this answer that she's gonna give.
So I knew what I was getting into. I knew that. So I went to the National Film School in India. It's one of the oldest film schools in the world.
Okay.
A little plug here for my school.
There you go.
Because it's a rare program. It's highly competitive. It's funded by taxpayers. So it's a public school. And thousands of people apply every year. And they apply for 8 to 10 years in a row if they don't get in.
Wow.
And they take 12 every year.
Wow.
Right?
Okay.
So
well, congratulations to you, because you went there.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. So to leave that behind is a big deal because the few film schools in India, they all have their networks or mafia, if you will, you know. So once you graduate, you have seniors working in the field, and pretty much almost all movies that you hear of that are worth watching or are doing well, and this is a big generalization, not just Bollywood but regional Indian cinema, is staffed by people from these film schools or people who have apprenticed with graduates from these film schools. And so people are familiar with your training, your potential, and you speak the same sort of work language, you know. So you know where people are coming from, and that goes a long way in getting jobs. So I left that behind, and I started off in a new country. Things I had to my advantage were that I spoke English, I had training, I was confident.
That's good.
And I had a thick skin.
Important.
So, it's so important.
In this industry, very important.
Yeah. And I do want to touch a little bit more before you move on, because I would like people that are listening to kind of hear what you went through as a female DP in India.
In India and here.
Sure.
Because I'm
right,
sure
but I want to focus on India first, because like it is a whole different.
So I feel I feel like that is quite a topic by itself, and we will touch upon it. But I would like to kind of like wrap this one up first, because I feel like this is a little distinct from that. I think that is the main struggle, which is to speak a language, because we work with the same equipment, and actually better equipment in the space that we were trained. You know, we had Alexas We trained on 35 millimeter.
And this was in India.
This is in India
Wow.
at my school. We have huge studio floors, you know, and so much support in terms of like just set design, carpentry, painting, electrical stuff, and you get 2,000 feet of stock color 35 millimeter in your second year of specialization.
Wow.
2,000 feet of black and white.
Wow.
And we have the only processing lab, black and white. I don't know if that's changed since I graduated, but Asia's only black and white processing lab inside the school.
Wow.
And
I mean, it has gotten less.
it's lavish.
Yeah.
It's lavish. I haven't seen that kind of support in this country
But
in
it
the
makes
best
sense.
film schools.
That's
know?
what I'm
Wow.
saying. That makes sense
Yeah.
because of how old the school is and like its history and knowing.
Absolutely.
Which would make sense also what you were saying, how close knit it was with networking and working
Absolutely.
and hiring.
Yeah.
And what you left behind.
Yeah.
That's huge.
So I feel like the hardest thing for me has been to show my potential because I went from working on the best equipment to being trusted only with DSLRs, for example.
Okay.
Or working in a space where there was no money, but also not a very refined understanding of, say, producing.
Okay.
So I worked a lot of short films. I shot about maybe 25 short films or so since I moved here. My main goal was to be out there on set so that I don't get depressed.
Right.
And being on set and working on something is so energizing. I also had the chance to get my earlier itch for photojournalism out. So in San Francisco, I really took time to go into the dark room, black and white dark room, color dark room, print. I learned printmaking. I took like history of photography classes, digital archival printmaking classes, scanning classes, framing classes from like the best people. I mentored at a photography program. I mentored youth for a year. So I got a chance to like really build my community. And at the same time, I was working with Scary Cow. And then once I got my work permit, I started working freelance. It was also hard to refuse paid jobs when I did not have my work permit because I could only volunteer.
Correct.
Right.
And
Which is difficult. And a lot of
it
people
was
don't understand
so hard.
that. Yeah.
It was so hard. So that is definitely something I had to like.
Did you still work
Work
on it
around.
even though it wasn't paid?
No,
you couldn't-
I volunteered. So a lot
Okay,
of DP
good.
work that I did in the first couple of years was volunteer basis or
Yeah.
creating work for myself. That's not my phone. Okay.
Which is still really nice though. I mean,
Oh, it was great.
yeah. I mean, I know obviously you need money to sustain and to live.
Yeah, I was lucky. My husband was able to support me at that time.
Yeah.
It's not easy for me to take help from my spouse. It's just like personal,
Of
principles. But no, it was great because I was working with a lot of first-time directors, and that's a different space because you are faced with different challenges, and it's more kind of like you apply yourself in different ways.
Right.
You manage your set in different ways, and you work with very little, and you try to get the best out of it. So I actually got a cinematography award at Scary Cow Film Festival. We
Nice.
have regular screenings at the Castro Theater in San Francisco. So one of the films we did, which was one of the most exhausting films, it's called Guillaume, which is now a feature film. I shot the short version. So I got an award for that. That was fun.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But yeah, I feel like just getting people to trust you and to see your potential is the biggest hurdle. I will say one more thing, which I find is it gives you a more even playing field in India. Is it's not a renter. It's not an owner operator market.
Okay.
So nobody owns Alexas unless they're a rental house. Nobody really owns Red cameras. and nobody really goes around with 10-ton trucks
Right.
for grip and lighting. So
It's different. I mean, this is Hollywood.
Yeah.
that's one of the pivotal
Yes.
differences in terms of the playing field.
Yeah.
Besides your network and besides people speaking like a similar work vocabulary. So that's also been a little bit of a hurdle.
Okay.
Because being an immigrant,
Right.
you can get kicked out anytime, even if you have a green card or a work permit.
Yeah, it is a scary,
Yeah.
especially now, scary situation.
Absolutely. So that does pose a little bit of a issue, but the good thing is,
how does it pose an issue? Just for our listeners.
sure, you end up losing jobs on many occasions to people who have just gear, a lot of gear to offer, and they also offer their services at a very nominal rate. So you're competing against folks with very strong networks and gear who can afford to offer it at very low rates. So I was just thinking about it yesterday. I was like, oh, that's interesting. I've actually done pretty well for myself given the fact that I have competed with that market and I have gotten my work out there. And in the past, I mean, like last year, I had my work shown at CineQuest and Mill Valley Film Festival. And I have a long list of American festivals now. And even before I moved here, one of the first films I shot in India at school actually was shown at the LA Indian Film Festival.
Nice.
Very nice.
Which has been one of the most phenomenal Indian film festivals in the country right now. LA Indian Film Festival and the New York Indian Film Festivals, very prestigious film festivals. So I feel like I've come a long way.
No,
absolutely. And there's so much more to go. But it's important to kind of also celebrate your wins, and however small they feel or
No,
not,
I mean, obviously, look, you've been through that struggle, and look at 3 films at Tribeca. That's huge.
Right.
That's a big deal. Not easy and very rare. It's a big deal when you get 1.
Right. I know.
You went for 3, so it was worth the ticket to go to New York.
Absolutely.
Yes. I want to circle back, if you don't mind, to what Robin had, the question.
Let's get back to that. So can you repeat your question?
So I was just having you talk about like how it is for you as a female cinematographer in India.
Yeah. So I feel like it is absolutely the same as being a female cinematographer here. And going by the things I hear from other female cinematographers who I know in, say, Europe, in different countries, I feel like we all face the same challenges. And if you are a person from a different country, working in a different country, there's that compounded intersectional set of challenges
Right.
That are like, say, based in region and religion and just a sense of belonging. There's sexism everywhere. It's not different in India than United States.
That's interesting to hear.
Yeah, I mean, it is there. I'm not going to deny it.
No.
Yeah.
I was the only reason why I was asking is because like in an Asian culture, it's very different. So that's why I'm asking that question.
I mean, I've had like white men and women or light-skinned people in this country, and even people of color, for that matter, who had the privilege to go to film school here, assume me to be like quite insignificant.
Really?
I've been told and said, this is a lens and this is how it looks. And I was teaching fall cinematography that year, and this person had gone through my body of work, and then they spoke to me that way. But I was getting paid really well to be there and do that job, so I kept my mouth shut and
I went on. That's incredible. Yeah, I mean, wow. Yeah, because I know how talented you are, you know, and we've worked together.
We worked together,
which is lovely. Yeah, gaff for you. So, I mean, that's one of
those.
And
what an incredible team that was.
Right?
Right?
Yeah, it was fantastic.
It was beautiful.
That was fun. That was a good time.
It was.
Very heavy subject. But I'm saying like it was super great, the support that we
Oh yeah.
that we all had.
Everyone in front of the camera, behind the camera,
It
and
was great.
and that became like a big network itself, right?
Yes,
that one film
absolutely.
propelled. We should talk about the film a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, and that's one of the reasons why we started this whole.
Yeah.
Well, you started this whole
Yeah.
female filmmakers fuse is to
Right.
like introduce and have someone in your arsenal, kind of like, okay, if you're not DPing, you can camera operate or you can gaff, and
Yeah.
like it's just one of those things where it's like, okay, I have this person, this person, this person. Whereas
Yeah.
before, you're like, who can I find and where can I find them? You know, and
Yeah.
if we don't know of each other, then how can we pull each other up?
Yeah.
Now, do you have your set go-to gaffer, or are there certain people that you always try to work with or bring on?
I mean, I have preferences, but usually they're out of budget. You
Oh,
know,
okay.
I was very lucky to work with a couple of really amazing gaffers in the Bay Area on my first project, where I first AC'd and did a little bit of camera operating. It's a Mexican Indian film.
Okay.
Again, like, you know, lovely collaboration. It's called The Summer Sacrament, and the gaffer was Tej Verdi, an Indian American person, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm not sure if I'm saying his last name right. But he recently gaffed The Last Black Man of San Francisco, which is a phenomenal film
Wow.
from
Sounds
the Bay
great.
Area. Oh, you should
Sounds
look
great.
it up. Annapurna Films produced it finally, so that's one of the things. And then I worked with Drew Nelson on the same film. And I always forget the name of this film. I even worked on it.
It happens.
Well, because I mean, you've worked on so many projects.
Oh,
so
no,
that's-
this is like a phenomenal film that Drew was the gaffer on.
Hmm.
I have to look it up.
Yeah.
You're fine.
It's going to come to me. But hang on.
But so just to give a little background, we met on the set of I am Christy.
Christine Blasey Ford.
Thank you.
It's a PSA.
Yeah, it was a PSA, and it was basically spearheaded by Skylar Barrett and then Sarah Ann Mace.
Mhm.
Is it Mace or Mace?
I thought it was Masse.
I think it's Masse. Yeah.
Mace.
Yeah. Sorry, Sarah, if I'm mispronouncing.
and I mispronounced it in the beginning. I do apologize. But yeah, it was a very heavy, obviously topic, because they were basically they had different actresses or talented, whether they were actresses or not, but they had different women or different people on camera, basically reading off her testimony. So it was just a really interesting shoot. It was very, I want to say it was just the feel. We were all very supportive towards each other. We were able to, I think we filmed it at what school was that?
LA City College.
LA City College.
Yeah, on their studio floor, which was really amazing.
Yeah, it was really nice. I was like,
it's
wow,
one
this
of the
is a nice
nicer
one.
school floors that I've seen.
Yeah, I was like, wow, this is nice.
Yeah.
This is really nice. So there was a lot of support. It was a good support system there.
Yeah, and it became a network going
it
forward.
really did.
Yeah.
It really did. That's how I met. That's how we met.
That's
you.
how we met.
I've known Robin
Yeah.
for years. I'm doing this like,
Yeah. You guys are like roommates, I think.
yeah,
right?
we've known
Yeah.
each other for
I don't even
years.
know.
I don't know.
Over a decade,
Yes.
Yes.
easily.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
two or three. Actually, Sarah, I met her on set because I had shot. I had shot something with her. What did I shoot? I don't remember. Oh, I didn't shoot. I camera operated for our LA unit, The Reckoning, which is on Hulu.
Awesome.
Yes.
I'm gonna
it
check
up.
it out.
It was so it obviously has to do with the Me Too movement, and this specifically was geared towards Harvey Weinstein. So I had to, our DP for LA, the DP for the
Was it
LA
Yamit?
unit. Sorry,
Was it Yamit?
no,
No.
Derek Rittenhouse. He
Okay.
was the DP for the LA unit, and I was his camera operator. One of them, he had another. And so Jean Tyson, and so she's also a DP. So we collaborated with him, and he lit it gorgeously, and we captured this and had to, unfortunately, had to listen and hear what they had to go through,
Yeah.
which is how I knew Sarah. And I was just like, she was just like, hey. And I was like, hi. Okay. I was like, I mean, I'm sorry this happened, but
Yeah.
at the same time, I'm glad that we've banded together
Yeah.
because of the content, obviously. But at the same time, like there's this support system of each other. So that's what I think has been like the most fantastic thing of
Yeah.
walking away from that experience.
Absolutely.
I actually want to segue back to the question you asked me about, being a female cinematographer here versus India. And I want to give a shout out to a Indian collective of cinematographers who identify as women. A shout out. We called IWCC in short. And we're a group of about, I think, 80 female cinematographers at this
Amazing.
point. And we're helmed by some really senior people in the field. And our website, people should check out. It's called iwcc.in. And we're still sort of rallying everyone to put their work up there. But there's about, I think, 35 or 40 of us that are already up there on the website.
That's great.
And we're doing some phenomenal work, really high quality web series, commercials, feature films, you name it,
Now, are they all based in India,
They're-
or are they all from India?
The majority of them are based in India. I
Mhm.
think maybe 2 or 3 of us are based abroad, but we also work locally from
Yeah.
time to time. And it's a great resource group. People are asking each other technical questions all the time.
Yes.
People respond very quickly,
And positively, I hope.
very quickly, very positively.
That's great.
The youngsters helping the older people and vice versa. People helping each other crew up, finding gaffers, finding, details about lighting and whatnot when you're shooting remotely in like very diverse places.
Mhm.
And some phenomenal stuff coming out of the group, and I feel like that's similar to a lot of stuff that's happening across the globe. Every country is coming up with their collective of female or intersectional groups, that are trying to break that sort of invisible barrier.
No, absolutely. That's great. And
Yeah.
you're saying it's at 80 approximately now?
I think so.
That's,
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
great.
We're on a WhatsApp group, so we're always talking and solving each other's problems.
And that's what
great.
it's all about. See, that support system is like
Yeah.
so
And
crucial.
we're also on Instagram, so I think it's just called IWCC Collective, and we take turns kind of managing the page, just like ICFC.
yeah.
Okay.
And we also kind of put up our sort of victories and awards and trailers and posters up there.
So
And
you
it's
celebrate
really
each
great.
other.
Yeah,
That's
and we're getting a lot of support from the men in the industry as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's good. That's
Yeah,
good.
it's great. people
It's just
people
like, hey.
are really happy about it. It's all like really positive. And I also want to give a shout out to all the women in the Indian film industry, because we don't market ourselves enough, but women are heading departments in the country in really high budget movies. Writers, showrunners, producers, executive producers, sound designers, sound recordists, art directors, cinematographers, editors, directors,
Yeah.
And I feel like there's a lot of us out there, not just in India, but I can speak particularly because I come from there, so I follow the work coming out of there. A lot of women are getting into producing, which is really great because they are able to make decisions that feel more authentic, I think, that really, really helps. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's a great shout out. That's
Yeah.
really, that's a really great shout
I'm
out.
glad I could do it.
No, I'm glad we can provide you the platform to
Thank
do it.
you. Thank you
No,
so
seriously.
much.
So
Yeah.
what are you working on now?
I am working on a comedy pilot that's expected to shoot in July.
Okay.
And I'm working on a short film and hopefully a feature film that's just like sort of like warming up talks on that.
Okay.
So that's what I have going on with the cinematography side of things.
Excellent.
And
You have your side hustle.
yeah, I have a couple.
Hobby.
I have a couple of projects that I'm directing, which I just do very slowly on the side, just because producing sucks. If you're a cinematographer, I mean, I have so much respect for people who do it professionally, and the hope is to sort of get it up to speed to a point where I can then rally in producers, because I've been making it out of my own pocket
Right.
so far. So one of them is a documentary series, and the other is a short fiction that I'm toying with the idea of like making a series or a short film. So we'll see.
That sounds really cool.
Yeah. And I also like printmaking. I really enjoy printmaking. So I do that on the side.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I need to find a side hustle.
I'm sure you have one. You just have to identify it.
I pick up trash on the beach.
There you
with
go.
my puppy.
That is a great side hustle.
Hey.
You're providing public service.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, it's getting to that time where we have to start wrapping it up. You've
Yeah.
done a couple of shout outs. Do you have any more shout outs, and where can people find you?
I have a website. It's myfullname.com. So that's V as in Victor, A as in Apple, T as in Tom, S as in Sky, A as in Apple, L as in London, A as in Apple, Vatsala Goel.com. And I have an Instagram by my same name, and my email, hello@studiobonsai.org.
Perfect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add that website
Mm-hmm.
for the collective, the women's collective. I'm going to
Yeah.
add yours as well, and I encourage others to please check out her work.
Thank you
it's
so
Some
much.
really good stuff there. I
Yeah.
mean, like
Yes.
everything, and great to work with. And it's always, I'm always fascinated talking to another DP, because this is the DP that I know.
Yeah, but now she knows another, so
I know
she can always
this.
pull you in.
Exactly. But it's always great because I'm always learning, and that's what it's about. So I do want to thank you for that. I want to thank you for stopping into the show, and I'm glad you still showed up.
Oh, my apologies
No, it's okay.
to everyone listening. I was about 5 minutes late.
Hey, the weather is not
The
the greatest
Indian in
right
me is still balancing the American in me.
It's all
Sorry.
good. No, you're fine. You're fine. I'm glad you're here, because we've touched on some really, really great topics here, and I'm glad that you were able to come in. I do thank you for that. So yeah, Robin, thank you for always being my co-host. Everyone, please, I'm gonna tag Vatsala.
Vatsala.
Thank you. See, I'm still learning Vatsala.
I love the spirit.
I'm gonna tag you and the websites that you have mentioned. So please check it out, and contact her. Please, I encourage it. Everyone, please have a safe and happy Sunday.
I want to say a quick thank you to both of you, and so great to see you again in a very different space. It's my first podcast.
Oh,
So thank you so much for the platform.
Yes, and-
Really, really appreciate it.
Aw, thank you.
And I've been listening to the podcasts on the website, the
Wonderful.
archives,
Woohoo.
and such a great platform.
Thank
I'm
you.
so glad you guys are able to do it, and I hope you guys continue to.
absolutely.
Thank you.
Yes.
And
thank-
happy
thanks.
first anniversary to FFF.
Oh yeah. our
Oh,
podcast,
great.
first
Congratulations. I
anniversary.
had no clue. That's amazing.
Thank you.
Wow. So special.
Absolutely. Thank you.
You're listening to Female Filmmakers Fuse with Alexa Polar and Robin Pabello, only on LA Talk Radio.